Hey everyone, it's Riley. I am starting a new series on my channel where I look at trans people from across the world and the stories that they have. This first episode features Noraasha, a trans woman from Krakow, Poland. Listen as she tells you about what it's like to be trans in her country.
My name is Noraasha, and you can call me Nora for short. And I'm here to tell you a little bit about how is it functioning to be a trans person in Poland. The knowledge of people is quite lackluster. They always get misgendered. And it is good if they're being called transsexuals, but even every now and then they're being called transvestites. And when it's I'm a person assigned male at birth, and she's transgendered, she's always gonna get called he, him. There is really no legal protection for trans people in Poland. Every time there's a bill, whether it's same-sex marriages or even partnerships, which we haven't had still passed, it always gets stuck. It isn't seen as a priority of any sort, and it really is seen as a left-wing propaganda. There are lots of good-willed people out there, employers, whatnot, that are gonna treat you with respect, but due to stereotypes and this not being transgendered and transgender phenomena, they're gonna have lots of stereotypes about you, and they're gonna be very misunderstanding, even if their heart is in the right place.
The understanding of trans people in Poland is quite slim, but there are some groups to help with that support.
Well, we have an institution, unfortunately the only one here in Poland, that is actively fighting for the rights of trans people and for their safety. And we have many more LGBTQ plus institutions that are fighting also for the right of trans people, but it isn't their only point of interest.
Medical transitioning is extremely hard for trans Polish people to access.
Either they're gonna be doing procedures that are not necessary or even threatening to the well-being of trans people, or they're just gonna deny you service because they're not gonna feel very suited to your needs. Psychologists run you through the test to do the differentiation diagnosis, I think. The tests that you've been put through to give you the diagnosis of transsexualism, and only then you can qualify for hormone replacement therapy. Also, there are very few medical experts, both psychologists and sexologists, and even endocrinologists, that even know about the situation of trans people and know about the situation from the medical side. So either they're gonna be mistreating you based on outdated knowledge, some legal and medical procedures that are set in place and cannot be skipped. Here we don't have such a thing as informed consent. You cannot decide for yourself what you're gonna do about your body.
Trans people in Poland have to go through quite a lengthy process to get their legal documents changed.
It's pretty strict in Poland whether you can change your name, because I'm gonna describe two situations. One, without changing your gender marker, and second, changing your name after changing your gender marker. So first, changing your name without changing gender marker, you're still required to pick a name of the gender you were assigned at birth, because in Poland we have very few names that are androgynous or suited for both genders or many genders. This is a very sticky situation, and you need to just feel out and hope for the best if you pick a name that isn't very normative here, because we have very strict norms about the names that are used in Poland, and you can we don't have very many foreign names, and it's the variety of names used here in Poland is much slimmer than it is in US. You're either gonna pick a name that aligns with your gender assigned at birth, or a neutral name, and you're gonna hope for the best, because in the end you have to have arguments in the first place to change your name. Then you have to have arguments why such a name, and have you used it before applying for the name change. And even though you pay for it, it isn't really up to you whether you're gonna have your name changed or not. When it comes to changing a gender marker, you have to go through a court, and you have to have your trial with all the medical documents, all the tests, all the diagnoses, both psychiatrist, which is also sexologist, and psychologist. You have to have an expert witness to see into your case, and that's a really expensive thing. They can take up to a few thousand, especially like in everyday situations. They might be a little weirded off, they might be a little frightened, they might be a little shocked, but in school I feel like there is more acceptance towards trans people. There is more knowledge since young people use internet much more, and therefore have more information than that. There was a situation where a gay kid was bullied to death in school, and we had a huge media outbreak about that, and protests on streets. But in everyday situation, I think it's pretty good. You might not have as many job offers. In more corporation environment, they have policies that came from the West, which are protecting you, which they're giving you much more freedom.
With all of these hurdles for trans people, some of them decide not to come out.
It's kind of hard here to come out, and many people choose to transition and never mentioned it in school or to their employers because of the need to avoid all this awkwardness and all this drama and being treated as a trans person rather than the gender you feel to be. I feel that the more people we interact with are more present on the internet, the more they know about the situation of trans people and how it is resolved and how they are treated in other countries, especially in the US. So the variety of experiences as trans people here, as a trans person here, is much bigger, because there are either people that are stuck in Poland and in the mental medieval here, or there are people that are very present on the internet and more Western minded. I really hope that Poland is gonna get to where the West is, but I really hope for the sake of other people that we can change it and fight for the well-being of trans people wherever they choose to live.
I hope as well that trans people from all across Poland and all across the world can be accepted and understood as we move on into the future. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to ask Noraasha any more questions, I've left her Twitter below this video, and I will catch you all next time where I have another story of a trans person from around the world. Alright, take care. Bye.